Hello and welcome to another episode of CPR. I am your host, Professor TK, here with the word from the swamp. How y'all doing today? I don't know when you're going to be listening to this, right? I don't know when the timing is going to be right for you. It could be on a Sunday, it could be on a Tuesday, it could go up on a Tuesday. I really don't know. But that's up to you, right? Depends on how you feel today. It depends on what energy you want throughout the week. I'm just here to give you your daily gospel. But without further ado, if you like these videos, if you like these podcast uploads, because we do have a podcast, search up CPR or Choreo Productions Radio, and you'll find it. If you do like these uploads, it would mean the world to me if you give me a like, subscribe, and go about your day. You ain't got to do all that. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to go out your way to, completely serenade a brother. Just enough so I know everyone likes this. People like this. You know what I'm saying? I can go about my business knowing that my work means something to you all. But without further ado, let's get into it. I've been thinking about this recently too, y'all. How do we feel about the N-word? Obviously, that's a word that was used to put down people of color, right? But now it's become a word of empowerment. And a part of me understands that, right? A part of me understands that words like that did have a weight back in the past, but now we're using it as a way to piss off the man, be empowering towards each other. But it's like the line of who is allowed to use that word, quote unquote, allowed to use that word, societally, I feel like is very construed. You see a man like me and you're like, oh, he can say the N-word, right? But you see a mixed person and you're like, well, I mean, people joke and say, oh, half of them can say it. I mean, fine, okay, I see what you're getting at. I see, I get it. Ha ha ha, key. But at the same time, it's like they might actually feel that way. You know what I'm saying? Because everyone has to code switch, right? When you're around other black folks, there's a different level of code switching. There's the surface level, like, hey, what's up, my brother? Keeping it simple, keeping it very surface level black. But then when you're around the hood affiliated brothers, those are the ones you kind of have to, puff your game up with a little bit. Not because they deserve that, but it's more so because their energy. You feel like, oh, okay, maybe I got to perform a little more for these people. Maybe I have to put on a little extra show. Truth is, you don't. Be yourself. That's going to be my key thing with any situation. Any situation, any feeling that you might have about yourself, please be true to yourself. Because at the end of the day, you are the only person that matters in your own story. No matter how loud, how wild you might be in your own story, you're the only person who matters in that way. And so, if you ever try to code switch because you feel that societal pressure, I get it, right? We've all been there. But at the same time, understand that regardless of how you code switch and who you code switch with, these people are still going to judge you. So, wouldn't you rather be yourself, regardless of how lame, regardless of how uncivilized it might be? I mean, if you're working a 9 to 5, I get that, right? Because society has put these expectations on co-working spaces and business office spaces for people to need to be conformed, right? And when you don't conform, you're seen as a threat, especially to weak-minded men. Weak-minded men are the worst type of men because they're not loud with their intentions. At first, they'll say it's because, oh, well, you're just not following procedure, right? You're just not following protocol. But deep down, it's, I feel intimidated by your presence, and I don't know how to say that without coming across as weak, right? And so they'll do other tactics like deny you access to things, pressure you, make you feel as though you need to move faster than how you're already moving. Brother or sister, you're doing just fine. Do not let these people pressure you into thinking you need to move any faster than your own rhythm. We all got our own rhythm in these things, right? We all got our own circadian rhythm when it comes to figuring out our tempo. Do not ever let somebody else determine that for you. Because once you start to do that, once you start to let somebody else determine how you should move about this world, your whole worldview changes. Then you start to conform. Then you think, oh, maybe I should tone down myself. Maybe I should be more presentable to people who are not going to give a shit about me to begin with, right? Because I notice when people move in alignment, when you actually start to move in alignment with the things that you believe in, things start to change for you. Doors start to open that you didn't think would ever get open for you. Because in my eyes, the universe is always guiding us to where we should be leading, where we should be heading. It's our North Star. We all have our North Star. We all have a creative endeavor. We all have a business enterprise that we want to pursue with ourselves. Whether it's drawing and making a clothing brand with that, whether it's dancing and making choreography with that. It doesn't matter what the case is. If you do not live within your purpose, or at the very least, figure out how to live for yourself, live within your purpose, you're going to be miserable. You're going to be 25, maybe 22, 23, wondering, where did life go wrong? It went wrong because you stopped trusting in yourself. You saw that spark. You saw yourself, wow, I'm a great violin player. Wow, I'm a great rapper. Wow, I'm a great architect. But you didn't trust in your own vision enough to create something with it, to create art, to create magic. Because I'm telling you, when you truly start to live in your vision, everything starts to become a lot more clear. Everything. Of course, it doesn't seem like it at the time because you have other people who are asleep. You have other people who don't believe in themselves and have been complacent in thinking all their worth is a timesheet. All their worth is a time clock. Well, brother and sister of any ethnicity, I'm here to tell you, chase your motherfucking dream, regardless of what it looks like. Small beginnings create big ass landfalls, and you never know. You never know who's watching. You never know who's quietly checking you out behind the scenes, wondering, are they going to believe in themselves, or are they going to quietly seep back into that same void that we all put ourselves in? We all had a dream once, right? You. I'm talking to you. Didn't you want to become a famous singer one day? Well, you know how many famous singers there are out there? How do you think they became famous? It wasn't because they were chasing somebody else's trend. No, they became famous because they stuck to their own vision. They were like, well, I know I can sing. I know I can do these certain things for myself. So because of that, how can I frame this around what I want to be? How can I frame this around the version of myself who deserves to be seen? You don't have to be good with a camera. In fact, this is the part that bothers me. We walk around with these incredibly expensive phones. But what do we do with them? We scroll Instagram. We scroll TikTok. We scroll all of these pages hoping to be validated when you can validate yourself. Have you ever, and I want you to answer this for me. Have you ever put yourself in front of a camera and felt how you looked? Saw how you looked? You don't have to be the best speaker. You don't have to be the best annotator. No, I'm not saying that. But have you sat in front of a camera and promoted yourself? Have you sat in front of a camera and fought for yourself? If you're an artist, if you like to draw, if you like to sketch, have you took pictures of your art? But the point still stands. Have you ever sat in front of a camera and thought to yourself, what can I do with this? Because the world needs to see. We all have something creative in ourselves. As humans, we weren't just born to be put in an office space. No. But it's also what you do with that office space is what matters. You know what I'm saying? The greats didn't come from just thinking they could be like anyone else. They wanted to be unique in their own versions of success, of artistry, of talent, of vision. But I digress, right? I digress because when we and I'm speaking to my younger generation with this. We leave high school and we wonder, well, shit. I didn't have anything built up for myself. I don't know what I want to be. Yes, you do. I know that sounds weird to say because some people haven't sat with themselves long enough to know what they want to be. But it's never too late. And you want to know how I know it's never too late? Because when you go outside of your alignment, life never feels complete for you. Life will never feel like it should for you because you're living outside of your rhythm. You're living outside of the things that resonate with you. You're never going to truly feel satisfied in what you do, regardless of how it might feel on the outside. And so my message to you, do not let anybody tell you who you should and shouldn't be. Deep down, you know yourself better than anyone. It doesn't matter what relationship you've been in. It doesn't matter what failed talking stage you tried to conjure into something real. No, because at the end of the day, who has to look in that mirror and feel pretty or handsome? You. With that being said, it has been your host, Professor TK, signing out. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace. And remember, the Toad King rises.